There are wonderful companies like CVS in Rhode Island, in Woonsocket, headquartered in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Great national company, pays the full 35%, like most big retail companies do. Then you've got companies like Carnival Cruise Lines, which pays 0.8% tax rate last time I checked. We just had a hearing on Apple hiding immense revenues offshore, paying 0% on those revenues. GE, famously, on all of its earnings, has as a profit center its tax department and paid negative tax rates during very profitable years. So should we also be looking at trying to get rid of these folks who are gaming the system and paying no tax whatsoever or virtually no tax whatsoever, and try to, as we're bringing the top rate down, also try to improve? There's a nominal corporate AMT that raises virtually nothing and attached. How do you bring the corporate tax rate up at the bottom so the true tax cheats, scofflaws, whatever you want to call them, who are paying nothing, not because they had a bad year, but because they were playing games with the tax code? What's the best way to try to make sure that there's a, I don't know, 2%, 3%, 5%, 8%, some minimum that people are actually paying when they're truly profitable?
I'll try to take a stab at that, Senator. Thank you.
Do you first of all agree that that's a problem that's worth addressing? That if there are gimmicks in the tax code that are keeping entities from paying taxes, and that we should try to solve that and not just bring down the top rate?
I agree. I think that's one of the big sources of inefficiency in the corporate code. The fact that there are some companies, you mentioned CVS, but it's clear that there's a distribution of tax rates that apply to different companies. Domestic retailers that can't benefit from things like the international provisions, offshoring, can't benefit from things like accelerated depreciation because they're not a capital-intensive business. Can't benefit from other things. They get a raw deal in effect in comparison with industries that can take advantage of that, and that's not just unfair in some sense. That's bad economic policy because it distorts the way the economy grows, and it suggests that
there's no economic rationale to having CVS, yes, a prominent drugstore chain, pay a 50 times higher tax rate than Carnival Cruise Lines, correct?
Yes, and more than that, it basically says to businesses that we should have more Carnival Cruise Lines and fewer CVSs. And it's not really clear that the government should be in the business of...
And it also says to the businesses, you should put more of your money not into productive activity, but into more accountants and more lawyers to play games with the system and to restructure yourself through corporate mechanisms rather than engage in productive work, because there's a huge reward for that, correct?
There is a huge reward right now for engaging in a lot of these avoidance schemes.